was Quill's favorite story. How Sir Argus fought beside the Sprite Champion to seal this temple from the arcane, and secured the survival of their kinds. Simply standing in their heroic footsteps felt like a great honor.
And welcome back to Quotation Rotation. We're playing through Moss VR, picking up right where we left off. I will say that going through and recording this second episode was a lot more trying. The puzzles get a little bit more difficult. I expected to play for about another half an hour. I ended up playing for an hour and a half, but the video is going to have a lot of cuts for a lot of time that I wasted trying to solve puzzles in some rooms. So I honestly thought with the first half hour of the game that it was going to be kind of a relaxing little puzzle solving adventure, but it can be very trying at times. Especially when there's no indication that the game gives you on what to do. You kind of have to figure stuff out for yourself. There's not a whole lot of hand-holding in this game. I just want to say for the record, this square recording output that the oculusquest does, while editing this video, I did look into more of a widescreen recording format, but it doesn't offer, the oculusquest doesn't offer that option. This is the output. However, I did find a program that I downloaded that I will be plugging my Quest into, and I can input some commands from the program into my Quest to record it in widescreen. So I'm going to test that out, and hopefully going forward we'll be able to see these in a widescreen format. It's kind of a pain in the ass, because essentially what it's doing is it's recording one eye at a time by default. So it's unfortunate that I have to download another program in order to feed it commands, and I have to do it every time. If I shut it down, it erases the commands I input into it, and I have to do it again. So as you can see here, having a little bit of problems right away in this second room trying to solve this. It gets worse, but I just wanted to show you that it was kind of a pain in the ass right off the bat. I'm like, oh, I think I'm in store for harder puzzles, but this didn't take nearly as long as a lot of the other ones. There's a lot of other rooms coming up where I died a lot, but you won't see that. Simply because the mechanics were getting me squished in between moving platforms and walls, like over and over and over. I'm not entirely good with dodging the attacks of these things, which I have a feeling is going to be real troublesome should there ever be like an enemy rush of these things. Something I gotta try to figure out the mechanics a little better instead of just going in and button mashing, which is essentially what I'm doing. And actually what you're going to see in this game, really, starting at least with this Let's Play, second episode here, that there actually is a lot of backtracking. I was complaining in the last episode that you couldn't backtrack if you missed something, and that might have been the case prior to entering the temple, but now that we're in the temple, there's a lot of backtracking. That doesn't mean that I collect everything. Kind of realize at this point that if there's a puzzle involved to collect something, I'll typically just not bother with it. Now, this is the first instance where I learned that there's a reason that these guys keep respawning. I have yet to realize the reason why, but you'll soon see that after killing them like 5 times that I kind of have it figured out, though I'm not entirely sure how the mechanic works quite yet. It's almost by accident that I figured that out right there. This is the room that gave me quite a conniption fit of I don't know how many deaths. And if anything, it really taught me how to master the mechanics of dragging and dropping the enemy on these switch plates. But it gets... This room got to be a big pain in my ass. But you're not going to see all that simply because it's way too much time to see me fail over and over and over and over and over again. I have yet to figure out here that I can actually like release those enemies from the grip and they will stay down. This is the part that killed me over and over and over again. Just because Quill takes forever to climb up onto a ledge, and if you're not quick enough, those stupid blocks will crush you. And through the magic of editing, I just cut out about 25 minutes worth of failures in this room. So right there, that's what was getting me most of the time, was getting caught up trying to climb that ledge, because you gotta be so precise and so quick about it. That and glitching right there. Like, I'm standing on that moving platform, not doing anything, and all of a sudden, like, I glitched in between the platform and the wall, and that was crushing me as well. So overall, between trying to get up on that ledge, and you're going to see here momentarily, I'm about to go for a scroll in the upper right-hand corner, but between trying to get up on that ledge and the glitching problems that I was having on that right side of the platforms, just a major pain in the ass, like constant deaths. And after trying to fix the audio again, the audio delay in this Oculus is really bad too. Throughout editing the video, somehow the audio just kept getting more delayed. So that was why there was a little glitch there. But this is the first room where I'm obviously under the first impression that backtracking through this temple is going to be a thing. And here's another room that kind of took me a while to figure things out in. But I've got this, I've got that down pat. It didn't take me that long to get through this room. It didn't definitely take me a half an hour like the last room did. Man, that was bad. There was actually that first cut I told you about, and then there was a second cut where I cut out another 10 minutes, so it's about 35 minutes total that I spent in that room. This is ridiculous. This one is a little bit easier. You can see that, well, you'll see that basically what you got to do is you got to kind of trade off places by letting the enemy actually go inside the contraption and drag it to the other side, but so it wasn't too bad. One thing you got to understand, to define a Let's Play versus a walkthrough, like when I, in another life, was on Twitch for just under a year, just about every game that I streamed, which is, they're all up on my other YouTube channel, which you can find if you want. I went into those games either with some kind of guide at my side, or I played them prior to streaming, so that when I would stream, it was a fluid process. Whereas with this, with a Let's Play, I'm going into this game completely blind. I have absolutely no idea what to do or what lays ahead. Or lies ahead. Lays or lies. Whatever the fuck. Grammar is not my best subject. So, yeah. And you'll see towards the end of the video, like, just how confused I get, because I have no idea what's going on. Now, this part was actually interesting, because there's like different paths, and I'm not sure, like, what to take exactly. Well, this wasn't the path until you see what happens here. It kind of opens up. But I was like, oh, if I take the wrong one, what's going to happen? But as it turns out, the decisions I made instinctively were all correct, as you'll find out.
Quill hoped this was a shortcut to the castle. What she found was a strange and vibrant place shrouded in perpetual twilight. But something about it was oddly familiar.
We're infested.
A grumble echoed from the cave.
And why would I do that?
It croaked loudly, annoyed at either nothing or something.
You in there!
Declared Quill boldly.
Where are we? I'm looking for the fastest way to the castle.
Quill recognized the toad as Veda's steed from the mire. Seemingly oblivious to Quill, he continued.
Fine. I'll open the route. Give them your fancy test. But you're only digging yourself a deeper grave with Root Seer Veda.
Kind of half expected this frog at any point to screw me over and eat me. As it turns out, it's a good frog for now.
If Veda knew I led you here, she'd burn my roots from existence.
Her voice rose from the soil, gently shaking the branches.
But I need to know you can handle the perils of the castle.
Oops. That was purely an accident, I swear. So at this point, it took me this long to learn that when you've got an edge or a ledge somewhere and there's like a yellow line on it, that means that it is entirely possible to climb up on it. Like right there, there's a line. Right there, there's a line. It also just helps indicate, like if you're on one ledge and you need to climb up to another ledge, that it is possible, if it's close enough, to climb up on that ledge. Now this room was a big backtracking situation. there was the backtracking already. However, this is like, so far up to this point, that was like nothing as far as backtracking goes. This is the first room where I realized that you can't actually... I didn't know that there was a drop there. This is the first room where I realized that you can't actually complete the puzzle upon first entry. You actually have to keep going and obtain other things to help you come back and complete the puzzle later. So at this point, I just put a cut in it because all I did was perplex myself as to what I was supposed to do in that room, and before I realized, well, maybe I should just leave and keep going, and maybe I'm meant to come back, which that is the case.
No animal has ever crossed into a sprite's heartwood. The words radiated from the leaves. You must prove I've not erred in giving you the glass relic.
So you'll see now that I've got the glass relic that I thought I had this room pretty much figured out with these platforms, that doing what I do on the right side here, that would be a mirror image of what to do on the left side, but we'll find out that that's not the case. The left side's a little bit more tricky. And I fell. All right. So at this point, I'm still trying to figure out how to get to that left switch. I'm thinking right now that I thought I moved that statue on the right as far as I could until I do this, until I get up to that switch, and then realize that there's kind of a pattern on the floor there that I think I'm supposed to have the statues follow that pattern. So I put a cut in here because I ran around the room for another few minutes still trying to get to that left switch when I realized if I have to backtrack so far to that room, I might as well backtrack even further, which you see me doing now, and maybe something else will open up, and lo and behold, we get some of the platforms appearing to go into that left, or I mean that right hole. So, yeah, Backtrack City all of a sudden in this game. And there we go. That's how you access the left switch. When a puzzle is too big to be contained to just one room, you might as well spread it over like 5. So I knew how to get the statue, at least at this point in time, over to that other one, but I'm like, oh, what to do here? I'm like, oh yeah, wait a minute, there was a platform that forms once I get close to it, so that's how you move it. Switch, lower it, drag it up, and the puzzle is finally completed.
Good start, but we'll have more work to do if Veda is ever going to accept you as her champion. I'll summon you again when you're ready.
Now at this point, Quill's just sitting there and I can't move her, and I'm like, what the hell? And I realize that she wants a high five. So that's what that was. She will not move until she gets her high five.
Quill and the Reader were reunited with the Toad of cantankerous disposition.
One
Toad,
test.
frog, whatever.
Small flies, if you ask me. I doubt they'll even find the second portal back.
is our first introduction to these sons of bitches that now fire shots at you. My frame of mind here was I thought maybe it would be beneficial for me to drag them down and off the ledge. Unfortunately, you can't do that. So it ends up being kind of a pain because there's 3 of them shooting at you at the same time. So what I did, and I don't know if it's, you know, something you're supposed to do, but it definitely helps, is I end up taking control of one of them, like that, while then I try to move and try to dodge everything else, so that essentially I only have 2 shooting at me instead of 3. It helps, but the whole process is still a pain. And then those platforms have to be a certain size in order for you to make the complete jumps from right to left. So I'm still trying to keep that one contained while moving all this other stuff. Right there was like another thing, and I don't know if it's ever gonna come into play, but as you can see, if you freeze one by taking control of it, you can attack it and it won't attack you. At this point, I'm trying to raise the platform, but it keeps grabbing at Quill. I'm waiting for it to see if it respawns. It's a nice little trick. Okay, one left to go. So you can see it is giving me a hint on the controls. Highlighting the trigger, or the thumb trigger. I'm actually firing, making this thing fire as I take control of it. And this room was kind of tricky as well. It took me a while to... controlling his firing is real finicky. You have to rotate him ever so perfectly. So getting that third one on the right, posed a big problem. Like, I could not, for the life of me, get it until I realized, after way too long and a lot of frustration, trying to line him up and to get him rotated without him just aimlessly firing. Pretty much it seemed like he was firing where I didn't want him to fire. I realized, well, maybe I should rotate that platform and get him on that platform. So after a few minutes, you see that I rotated the platform. I'm dragging him up there. And now I'm going to give it the old college try, hoping that this was the point all along. You can see I'm still having problems with his rotation. See, like, I'm rotating him and I'm aiming towards that third one on the right, but he then rotates to the left ever so slightly and hits that middle one again. At this point, I'm so frustrated, I'm just like, it's gotta hit, and there we go. I was just moving the controls to the right and firing at will, and finally it took. This room was another pain in the ass as far as you'll see another one of those enemies shows up, and you gotta keep on firing at the little purple glowing balls and the pedestals there, and getting him to aim at one of them was kind of a pain. And the puzzle here is kind of twofold. Again, you got moving platforms there on the left and the right, but they don't move on their own. They only move when you hit the switches, the purple pedestal switches. And on the left, all the way at the top left one, there is a scroll, or a parchment, whatever, that I don't actually obtain because I can't figure out how to get the enemy that you'll see show up in a bit, how to get him to fire at one of these pedestals, if that's even how you do it. So eventually I just I figure I've missed like 3 up to this point, so I'm probably not going to get whatever ending or secrets or whatever comes along with collecting them all. So it doesn't matter, but... And I could look at like a walkthrough or a strategy guide if there is one or something like that, but this isn't a walkthrough. It's a Let's Play, so it doesn't matter to me if I collect everything or not. It is what it is. So I put a pretty big cut in there because it was literally just probably about 8 minutes of me taking control of that enemy and just having him fire like everywhere around the room trying to hit those switches. So now at this point I figure I'm on the steps and I'm going to just you know, try to exit off the right side of those platforms. So what happened was I put a cut in there. I ended up hitting that switch, and then he hit the switch after me, and it was higher. Then I had to hit the switch again. It was lower. Now I have to try to get him to hit the switch again to raise me up. There we go. Now I can finally leave. Now here we have another treasure chest, and this is where I ended up getting really confused. With the last chest, Quill held up the item above her head, a la Link, and just sat there until I actually like grabbed at it and dragged it, and then Quill equipped it. So I do that here, but something else, well, I fell, but something else entirely different ends up happening. And I have no idea what is going on with it, or what it even is. It looks like a shield. And now it's like stuck in my little bubble. So I'm sitting here trying to figure out what to do, and I don't know what to do. I can't get her to equip it or anything, so it's been an hour. At this point, we're going to call it an episode. If you guys enjoy watching these Let's Plays with the Moss, hit the like button, comment below what you think so far, and of course, hit that subscribe and the notification bell. Later.